Welcome back to LoveBabz, Love Talk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. The wheels do indeed keep turning, and they're turning today toward dance. I got Alexis Robbins logging in, and Lynn Peterson, who is already on screen from the Siren Modern Dance company. And y'all know Alexis, my tap dancing teacher from Camera Dance. Is it Camera? Did I say that right? Camera Dance?
Hammer dance, yes, and siren dance.
And siren dance. So y'all have a creative circle coming up, a dance performance coming up October 22nd in the Hill at a Creco space, the Hill Museum, 210 West Street. I love that space. Have you been in the space? I'm sure you've been in the space. I love that space.
Yes, we have. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So welcome. So tell me about this dance performance. What are we working with? What are we talking about?
We're working with a lot. We're talking about two different companies, Siren and Camera Dance, coming together to share with the community. We're both working on new dances. So we're in the early stages of creation, lots of ideas going on, and we want to share that now with the audiences. There's lots of times people share the very end product when it's all tied up and in a bow and neat and complete. But we spend so much of our time in process rather than in performance. And we wanted to share that with the community, show when it's still messy, when we we never have it all figured out, but when we have it even less figured out than we think we do at the end, tell them about our ideas, tell them how we make dances, and everybody does it completely differently, and just kind of crack the door open a little bit on that process. So that's what we'll be doing on Saturday.
So how do you two know each other?
Alexis, you want to take that one?
Sure. So for several years, I was renting Erector Square, and Lynn is married to artist you might know, Eric March, and we were both his studio and where I was renting. They were on the same floor in Erector, and I had met Eric several times. I believe one of my open.
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
Those days. Yeah, and so Lynn came down the hall to see what I was up to, and yeah, I was like, oh my god. And yeah, our relationship has been growing ever since.
Now, is this the first collaborative effort, or have y'all collaborated before on pieces?
No, this is our first. And I guess to be clear, the companies aren't yet, maybe that'll happen someday, aren't yet fully creating together. We're collaborating in the sense in that our two organizations are bringing this event to fruition together. So we're collaborating on the production side of things. We will be doing an improvisation Saturday with some audience help and participation that where all the dancers will be performing together. But this is our first collaborative venture as two dance making organizations. We find in dance, we often get very siloed as companies working on our own, going at it alone. And Alexis and I are really trying to have a different approach and reach out to each other, work together. There's just so much more we can do together when we pull whatever resources and energies and visions we have together. So this is our first venture in that, and really trying to come together as two companies, celebrate each other's visions, and see what happens.
Is your computer volume up? Because you might need to turn it down. So are you a tap dancer too, or And Alexis, are you a contemporary dancer? Like how are y'all similar and different in your approach to dance?
I would argue we're most, but yeah, I'm also a contemporary modern dance at practice. What I'll be showing next Saturday, um, movement in what I'm doing. Yeah, siren modern dance advertised in the name. I don't know. Have experience.
Yeah, I think some people have. I did for a little bit when I was in elementary school. I'm not a tap dancer. I love it. I appreciate it. I think what Alexis does is extraordinary. But it is not the form that I have spent the most time in. Modern dance, which I acknowledge is a very and perhaps a vague term for people listening out there. What is modern dance? What does that mean? Um, it stems from American modern dance. Some of the people, Martha Graham, Catherine Dunham, Jose Limon, that started this work, over 100 years ago or 100 years ago in our country. My training came from that lineage, and now we do a big mishmash melting pot based on who we are as people today. But that is where our training is rooted, which is why we have preserved that name in our company name, is to kind of pay homage to our dance ancestors, so to speak. But I would say Alexis and I, while we're our companies explore different forms for the most part, I think we share a definite esprit de corps as far as like just being really persistent and passionate and stubborn about just sharing dance and all the different ways we can do it. And that's, one of the reasons why I've been so excited to get to know Alexis and just had to work with her, is because when you meet somebody who kind of shares that passion for, this is just me and this is what I do and this is how I connect with people, this is how we connect with people in the best way we can, is through dance and all the different adventures and opportunities that dance has, I think, placed in both of our lives. And I think that's what really inspired our connection and is allowing it to grow.
So what do you want people to do when they come on Saturday? Like, what is the participation part? Like, because people are like, I can't dance, I don't dance, but they want to see dance. How do you engage that, or do you engage that?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, well, both companies showing works. A large part of the Saturday, come watch, and lots of snacks for you to smash on while tired. And then at the end, our two or per se the audience are out. So we're gonna ask the tempo where we are. How we're gonna rising, which will be our first time you're gonna experience a literal experience in front of you guys, which yeah, and then we're gonna just open the floor to any questions. So and there's no question is dumb, no question is weird. You can ask anything. We want what we're doing to feel approachable. I think it will hopefully feel approachable, because they're right now we're presenting work that's very in its like bare bone stages. There aren't like lights or crazy or any of the large production things yet. So yeah, this is mostly Saturday is mostly a hang. Come eat a cupcake, stand, sit on a chair, sit on the ground, look at the art, look at the movement in front of the art. And however it makes you feel is how it makes you feel. And then, let us know if you have a question, or just let us know how it made you feel, which could just be, maybe it made you feel confused, and we start to unpack that, or maybe it made you feel excited, and we unpack that.
So
I,
go ahead. Go ahead, Lynn.
I was going to say, and there may be some welcoming for some audience movement during our presentation that will be, perhaps inviting folks to join along, and some really accessible, simple, basic movement gestures. And when I say gesture, I mean movement that's only with your arms from your seat. But that's only if people want. And we're welcoming people to draw. We're going to have pencil and paper there. Like you said in the beginning, Babz, the artwork of Krico envelops this space. There's no way you cannot be aware and responsive and feeling also all of these intricate drawings that are going to be surrounding us while we dance, while people watch. And so we're also going to have pencil and paper there. And if people want to respond in any way, drawing to the pictures, to us, to what they're dreaming about, who knows, acknowledging that there's lots of ways people can be processing what they're experiencing. And so that's another kind of element that we're going to add to the mix on Saturday.
So is the idea that you two come together and people get to see the creative process, but do you, at the end of this, do you make a decision that we are going to actually create a production together, or this is just a one moment in time?
I think Alexis and I have lots of ideas about a lot of things we want to do. We do want to offer community classes where where the whole point of the hang would be to have everybody moving with us as a whole separate thing. We hope to continue to bring these new works as they're being created and as they get completed to New Haven, so people can see as they develop. And one day it may lead to our two companies also full on collaborating together. But what I've learned over the years is that to collaborate in that way, to like fully interweave artistically, is a really big commitment. And takes having a really strong relationship with the person that we're collaborating with. And so we're taking it one step at a time at this point, as far as that goes. But there's lots of possibilities. We have lots of things we're excited to do with dance in New Haven together.
And do y'all think this will inspire other movement organizations, dance organizations, to sort of get together and do something very similar, to do this? Like, can this grow? Do you imagine this growing into something that y'all do annually or seasonally, that you bring other dancers into the space and sort of say, let's just do this together? Like, it's not, it's a commitment, but it's not the same as if, you're putting on the Nutcracker or anything like that. Like this is, like Alexis said, this is before the lights and the costumes and the whole thing.
Yes, and I think, yeah, I'm just like, it's such a big deal to be able to share the production work with other people. For me, that's feeling so huge. I've produced several shows by myself in New Haven, and it is so much work to take all of that on. So just sharing the burden, if you will, for lack of a better term, of the production side of what we're doing, because the dancing side and the artistic side is always what we love to do, but the production side is hard. So sharing those responsibilities with another group of people who are equally as passionate is just so incredible. So yeah, I think we're gonna continue down this path of producing events together where we're each showing work. I think this will lead to more than just works in process. So this Saturday is a very chilled works in process event, but I believe that this will be leading to the lights, the stage, the more formal version of where we're headed when work is complete. So sharing that that production as well, and then yes, I think inviting other dance organizations into the conversation would be huge. So of course it's means building more relationships and working with other folks and deepening trust, because again, this, producing events is a huge responsibility, but yeah, I mean, New Haven and really Connecticut in general, like there isn't, I haven't found a better way to say this, but there really isn't like infrastructure for dance. There is not infrastructure for what we do. So I think the only way to do this moving forward is to collaborate in the way that we are doing, and to in the future collaborate with other professional dance organizations as well. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And so when you say infrastructure, Alexis, because I was going to ask a whole different conversation, but that this interests me because, I chair the Greater New Haven Arts Council board. And this is an interesting thought, because I never thought of not seeing dance having the support that it needs. And I see other arts getting the shine, right? Getting all the information. What is required, both of you, for infrastructure to be built for dance, so that there's a pipeline and a space for it to be next to all the other art that we celebrate in the city?
I think it takes a lot of things. I think one thing that's really important that I've learned is that there's no one magic silver key. I think there are a couple of things that need to be in place. I think first of all of the people out there in New Haven and the Greater New Haven area, like first and foremost, we as a dance artist have to build relationships with the people in our community to make them feel a valued, invested interest in the art form of dance. So that actually they come out of your homes and away from your screens and come experience something that's like live and in person and in your body. And so I think that's one part of our work, is developing that relationship with people in our community through giving them experiences with dance, whether that's in a dance class, a dance performance, hopefully both. Then maybe those relationships grow to those individuals contributing themselves. We're both non-for-profit or operate under Umbrella's fiscal sponsorship model, where individual support is key, is absolutely key. Siren, that's been the backbone of our organization for now. We're entering our 20th year. Without the support of individuals, we wouldn't be here. Ticket sales, performance fees, and then, obviously the Arts Council of Greater New Haven and all the arts councils out there are incredible. However, the funding that exists through those places is often like very hard to get in terms of the competition for that funding. And so we found as an organization that we actually have to, get a whole bunch of other stuff going, because we can't necessarily count on that grant funding to be the thing at all. It's way more about building our relationship with individuals, getting a lot of work, and kind of building this stilted platform of support that allows us to get through. But I think it's really pronged. I think it really starts in a lot of ways with us as dance makers, not to put more work on us, but I really do think we have to figure out how to get listeners, and I'd love to hear from anybody out there. Like, what do people think about dance? Why don't people want to come and engage, and why don't they value it the same way they do like spending money on a movie ticket or going to see a music show or going to see a sports event? And those are real questions that we need to unpack as a dance community. And I could probably talk for way longer than your show would go about that. But
no, that's really fine, because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to convene y'all shortly so we can have a bigger conversation about how we elevate dance, because I find it, I just was not aware. I mean, I, like a lot of people, particularly people of color, we find dance. I go to Alvin Ailey when it comes through town, and I go through all the other, when they Arts and Ideas throws dancing things, performances, I go, but I never thought about it beyond seeing the Nutcracker at the New Haven Ballet. You know what I mean? Like I don't think of it beyond that. And I'd like to change that. So
it's the small budget. It's just like the economy of the country. Most of the resources go to those top folks, right? The Ailey's, the people doing Nutcrackers, and Dance NYC has a great quote that I'm forgetting, a statistic that I'll try and find to get to you, Babz, about 80 to 90% of the funding does not make it to, they call us small budget dance makers. So much of it stays at the top, stays right at the top, and makes it really hard for small budget dance makers. And sorry, Alexis, I will let you talk. I apologize. I'm just steamrolling this, but clearly I'm very passionate about it, but I know you are too. But anyway, sorry, Babz, I cut you off. But
don't be sorry. No, this is what conversation is about, to jump in there. Alexis, what is your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, seconding everything Lynn has said, but I think a large reason why people don't think about dance is because it's a physical art form. It's something we do with our bodies, and I think a lot of humans are very disconnected from their bodies, and so it's just easier to consume a movie, or it's easier to consume music, and I love both of those forms, and it's easier to go look at visual art because it's not asking you to connect as much maybe to your physical self. And when I get up in front of you and really close to you, right? Like the show we're doing on Saturday, you're not separated from us. We're not in a theater where there's a stage and a separation from the audience. Like the performing I like to do is when you can hear my breathing. The audience can hear my breathing and see my sweat, and really feel like the work I'm putting in. And something I'm working on this thought a little bit more. So maybe it'll sound a little more coherent one day. But just folks, it's hard. It's harder to be like, oh, that person is doing something so physically intense, it's making me think about my own body maybe. And our bodies are being shamed from all the directions, no matter what you look like, we're always being told something is wrong. And we're spending a lot of time looking at screens and just being so disconnected from what our bodies can do for us and how they serve us, and that we only get one. We get this one vessel, and that's it forever. And how you treat it and how it moves is how you move through this life. And I think dance is so incredibly deep and special in that way, and in that it's when you're watching other people dance, it's asking you to connect to yourself. And I think that there's a disconnect there in general. More specifically, though, to get back to what I meant about infrastructure, is that there are literally, and now I'm speaking more Greater New Haven / Connecticut. There are not zero, but there are almost zero common meeting places for dancers, and there is essentially zero funding that is specifically for professional dance makers in this state. And if you go look at any grant that's been given out recently, either in Greater New Haven or in this state, and you look at how many professional dance artists received that grant on that long list of artists, it's almost often zero. And
we have got to change that. I had no idea.
And I'm out here applying for stuff all the time, and I'm not getting it. And of course, we can't get all the things we apply for. Not saying that I should get all the things.
But I know exactly what you're saying. But if you poll people, they will tell you dance is important. I mean, we make our children go to dance, right? I don't know any little girl or little boy that did not come up through somebody's dance program as a child, whether it was ballet or modern jazz or tap or whatever it was. We understand that to be foundational to arts education. We believe this because there's kids all over the city that are in little ballet classes and little movement classes. But then after that, what happens? Like, what happens after you get out of that, I guess you go to sports and then you never look back to dance.
I think that's another attribution to another version of the disconnect I'm talking about, is like, and people say that to me all the time as someone who offers adult drop-in tap classes that are affordable on a weekly basis, winky face. All the time, who come to me and say, oh, it's not for my 6-year-old? And I'm like, no, it's not. And no offense to your 6-year-old, because of course I also teach children, and children should learn how to dance, but like, so should adults. And it doesn't stop after you stopped dancing in high school. It's not like dancing just ends. Like, there are millions of professional adult dancers who are owning our crafts the same way a musician does. It's not any different. If you value music, you should value professional dancers in the same light. We're working day in and day out. I practice. I put my shoes on every day. I practice every day. Like, that's not any different than a guitar player, or a bass player, or a horn player practicing their craft every day, or rehearsing with their bandmates. Like, we're also doing that. And then, another rabbit hole we could go down is that it's harder to produce dance, and it's harder to see dance because it is harder and takes a lot more time to create quality dance works than it does. And I don't mean this in any offense to other art forms, but in many ways it takes a lot more to learn and teach and perform and produce dance, because unlike music, I could write down a music score and hand it to someone, and if they can sight read, they can just play that, right? Like, there's written language for what musicians do, and there is no written language for what we're doing. Like, it is really time consuming to teach, to be like, okay, you're gonna here. I can't write that down for you. And it takes human beings who are incredibly deeply intact with their brain body, their mind body selves, to be able to see that and be like, got it. And there's a lack of awareness of how hard that is. But it takes so much longer to produce that and to hold on to it, which is also why, dance performances, even what we're doing this Saturday, just like can't happen terribly often, especially on our budget, because it takes a long time to even produce what we are producing. And so when we do come at you with the lights, camera, action, the whole finished product, like we're spending years to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I am fascinated by this conversation. My little mind is turning. I'm gonna have to convene some dancers so that we can start talking about how we can get money into this art form and have collective space where y'all are gathered. Not to say that y'all are not gathered, but some collective space where some unifying body says, let's get all the dancers together and hear what they need and figure out how we can get what they need. I think that is necessary, because I just feel like I don't want to see. I mean, I grew up with Bo and Peters, and I don't know if y'all know Bo and Peters dance when I was a child. I mean, and there was a whole documentary on Miss Peters because she was so iconic in the dance world, and she was from New Haven, and she came back to New Haven and taught all the little black girls. I mean, I don't know any black girl that did not come through the Bo and Peters school. So I just feel like you all are raising an issue that really needs to be looked at and explored, and find some way to sort of elevate dance back to its rightful place among the other artistic expressions that we enjoy. You know, that we enjoy. So, Lynn, where do you run your company from? Are you in New Haven?
I live in New Haven personally. Yes, Siren is based in New York City. So the company rehearses there. All of our dancers live there. But I once lived there, but have since 8 years ago relocated to New Haven, very happily. So I'm straddling two worlds, and so happy to be bringing Siren back to New Haven. It's been several years. Well, actually, that's not true. We were just in May performing at a school here in the neighborhood, but we haven't done a public event for quite some time here in New Haven. So, yeah.
Okay. And so, so Alexis, I love the fact that you're doing this, and I've watched you. I do a couple of other performances, like you did this summer, part of, I think you got a grant or you got something. You did this thing outside where you brought people together and they danced and you had live music. And I think you do that periodically. You'll perform with live music and bring people together to dance.
I did get, and it was the first time I had gotten money from the state of Connecticut to produce Rooted in Dance and Music, which, yes, we did this past May in Peter Villano Park, and it's happening again Saturday, October 29th. So a week after this performance, the second Rooted in Dance and Music is happening in Westville at the central patio outside. And yes, it's a free opportunity for anyone, all ages, all abilities, to come learn a dance, perform that with live music, and then be in a show with professional artists. Yeah. Ooh. Oh.
Oh no.
I was like, whoa. Yes. So yeah, that's happening October 29th in Westville. Thanks to WOVRA, the Westville Village Renaissance Association's helping out. Yeah, this is the second one, and for now the last one. I'm out of money, so if people wanna give me more money, I could maybe make it happen again. But putting things on is incredibly expensive because I believe in paying artists actually what they are worth for their time. So it's not just, $1,000 will cover this. Absolutely not. So yes, but I'm grateful that I was given some money, and the first one was amazing. I know this next one's gonna be awesome. And yeah, I would love to make it happen again, but pending funding.
I understand, and I mean it. I'm going to convene y'all with some other folks that I know or think I know, and I want y'all to invite people too, because I don't know dancers like that. I just know y'all and Alexis specifically, and I think it's time to convene this and have a larger conversation, at least about how we can at least come together and tackle this. So, but I know y'all have a creative circle, a dance performance presented by Siren Modern Dance and Camera Dance at the Hill Museum on Saturday, October 22nd from 4 to 5. I love that space very much. It's a great space. It's a great space. And so I hope people come out and support this and participate and let us elevate dance back to its rightful place of artistic expression.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
I so appreciate this conversation this morning. I have learned a lot. Thank you so much, Lynn Peterson. Thank you so much, Alexis Robbins.
Thank you.
And I will see y'all out here in these dancing streets.
Yes, you will. That's right.
All right, Harry. Thank you very much. And I will see y'all later. Take good care and be safe out there. All right, what happened? Harry, are we out? I don't hear the music, so, but thank you very much.